Captain Han Wu stared at the massive view screen showing empty space. 3 months had passed since the first alien ships appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system. 3 months of talks, threats, and growing tension. Now the talking was over. "Captain, we're getting another transmission from the alien fleet," said Dr. Park Soo-jin from her communication station. Her fingers moved quickly across the control panel. "It's the same as before, but stronger this time." Han Wu nodded. He had seen these messages too many times. The aliens called themselves the Domination Fleet, and they wanted Earth to surrender completely. They wanted humans to become slaves, to give up their planet, their freedom, everything. "Put it on screen, Dr. Park." The view screen flickered and showed the alien leader. Overlord Vextar looked like a giant insect with 4 arms and glowing red eyes. His voice sounded like metal scraping against stone when he spoke. "Humans of Earth," Vextar began, "you have had 3 months to consider our generous offer. You will surrender your planet and serve the Domination Fleet, or you will be destroyed. This is your final warning." Lieutenant Kim Tae-ho, the youngest officer on the bridge, turned to look at Han Wu. "Captain, should we respond?" Han Wu thought about Earth, about his home, about his family. He thought about millions of people who trusted him to protect them. The alien offer was not generous at all. It was slavery or death. "Open a channel, Lieutenant." The communication system hummed to life. Han Wu stood up straight and looked directly at the alien leader on the screen. "Overlord Vextar, this is Captain Han Wu of the Earth Defense Station, New Seoul. We have considered your offer very carefully." He paused, knowing that his next words would change everything. "Our answer is no. Earth will never surrender. We will never be your slaves. Find another planet to bully." The alien leader's red eyes blazed brighter. His 4 arms moved wildly as he spoke. "You dare refuse us? We have conquered 1,000 worlds. We have destroyed entire species for less insult than this. Then you'll have to destroy us too," Han Wu replied calmly. "Because we will not bow down to you or anyone else." Vextar's voice became a roar. "You have crossed a line that cannot be uncrossed, humans. You will suffer for this decision. We will erase every trace of your pathetic species from existence." "We'll see about that," Han Wu said and cut the transmission. The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew what this meant. War was coming and Earth was not ready for it. Engineer Lee Da-eun spoke up from her station. "Captain, I'm reading massive energy signatures from deep space." "They're moving toward us fast, and how many ships?" Han Wu asked. "Too many to count, sir. Maybe hundreds. They're big, much bigger than our ships." Dr. Park Soo-jin looked up from her console, worry clear on her face. "Captain, I'm trying to send a warning message to Earth Command, but they're jamming our long-range communications." Han Wu walked to the center of the bridge. Outside the view screen, he could see the first alien ships appearing as tiny dots of light. Soon those dots would become massive warships carrying weapons that could destroy planets. "All hands, this is the captain," he announced over the ship's communication system. "The aliens are coming in force. We cannot match their numbers or their firepower, but we can do something they don't expect. We can fight like humans." Lieutenant Kim Tae-ho frowned. "What does that mean, Captain?" "It means we don't follow their rules," Han Wu explained. "They expect us to line up our ships and fight like they do. They expect us to be afraid and make mistakes, but we're not going to do what they expect." On Earth, Admiral Choi Min-ho received the last message that got through before the jamming began. It was short and simple. "They refused our surrender. War has begun." Han Wu. Admiral Choi called together all the leaders of Earth's nations. Presidents, prime ministers, generals, and scientists filled the emergency meeting room. "The aliens have made their choice," Admiral Choi announced. "They want to destroy us because we refuse to be slaves. They think we crossed some imaginary line by saying no to them." The room erupted in worried voices, but Admiral Choi raised his hand for silence. "They think they know what humans are," he continued. "They think we're weak because we're smaller than them. They think we're stupid because our technology is different from theirs. They're about to learn how wrong they are." Back on the defense station, the alien fleet was now visible on the main screen. Hundreds of dark angular ships moved toward them like a swarm of metal insects. Each ship was 10 times larger than anything humans had ever built. "Captain," Engineer Lee Da-eun reported, "their lead ships will be in weapons range in 20 minutes. "Good," Han Wu said. "Signal all human ships in the area. Tell them the plan is simple. Survive as long as possible, learn everything we can about the enemy, and make them pay for every meter of space." Dr. Park Soo-jin managed to boost the short-range communications. "All ships responding, Captain. 12 vessels total, including us. 12 human ships against hundreds of alien warships. The odds were impossible, but Han Wu felt strangely calm. Throughout human history, his people had faced impossible odds before. Sometimes they lost, but they always fought. Lieutenant Kim, prepare all weapons. Engineer Lee, give me everything the engines can handle. Dr. Park, record everything that happens. If we don't survive this, someone needs to know what we learned. The alien fleet spread out as it approached, forming a wall of ships that stretched across space. Their weapons began to glow with deadly energy. They're trying to scare us, Han Wu observed. Look how perfect their formation is. Look how slowly they're moving. They want us to see how many ships they have. Is it working? Lieutenant Kim asked nervously. Han Wu smiled grimly. It should be. But humans have a bad habit of being stubborn when someone tries to scare us. The first alien ship fired a warning shot that lit up space with blue energy. The beam passed close to the new Sol, close enough to feel the heat through the hull. Captain, Dr. Park Soo-jin called out, I'm receiving a final surrender demand from Overlord Vextar. Tell him he can surrender to us if he wants, Han Wu replied. Otherwise, he can come and take what he thinks he deserves. The alien response was immediate. Every ship in their fleet opened fire at once, turning space into a storm of deadly energy beams and explosive missiles. All ships, scatter. Han Wu commanded. Show them what humans do when someone tries to push us around. The battle for humanity's future had begun. The space around Earth's defense station New Sol exploded into chaos. Blue energy beams from alien weapons cut through the darkness while human ships scattered in all directions. The alien fleet was massive, their ships dark and threatening like metal mountains floating in space. Captain Han Wu gripped his command chair as the New Sol shook under enemy fire. Engineer Lee, give me a damage report. Hull holding steady, Captain. Lee Da-un called back from her station. But they're not trying to destroy us yet. Those are warning shots. Lieutenant Kim Tae-ho looked confused. Warning shots? Why aren't they trying to kill us? Dr. Park Soo-jin answered while working frantically at her communications panel. They want to capture us alive. Look at their attack pattern. They're trying to disable our engines, not destroy our ships. Han Wu watched the battle unfold on his screen. The alien ships moved in perfect formation, like they were following a textbook. They fired in sequences, each blast calculated and controlled. It was impressive, but it was also predictable. All human ships, listen carefully. Han Wu broadcast on the emergency channel. They're fighting by rules. We're not going to do that. The human ship Lucky Dragon, commanded by Captain Park Hyun-woo, was the first to break formation. Instead of flying in a straight line like the aliens expected, the Lucky Dragon dove under the enemy fleet and came up behind them. What is that ship doing? Overlord Vextar demanded from his flagship. The alien leader watched the human vessel perform maneuvers that made no sense according to military doctrine. Subcommander Kralesh, his second-in-command, studied the tactical display. They appear to be improvising, my lord. There's no pattern to their movements. Impossible, Vextar growled. All species follow proper military formations. Order our ships to adjust and trap them. But when the alien fleet moved to surround the Lucky Dragon, 2 more human ships attacked from completely different directions. The Earth vessel Thunder Bay rammed directly into an alien cruiser, using its smaller size and speed to damage the larger ship's engines. Meanwhile, the Seoul Express used the explosion as cover to launch all its missiles at once, not at enemy ships, but at the space debris floating between the fleets. They're using debris as weapons, Subcommander Kralesh reported in shock. They're making our own battlefield work against us. The floating metal and rock fragments, pushed by the missile explosions, became a storm of deadly projectiles. The alien ships, designed for organized fleet battles, found their sensors confused by thousands of small objects flying in all directions. On the New Sol, Lieutenant Kim Tae-ho was learning to think like a human instead of a soldier. Captain, what if we don't try to win? What if we just try to confuse them? Explain that, Lieutenant. Look at how they fight. Everything is planned, everything is organized. They've probably conquered hundreds of worlds using the same tactics every time. But what if we don't fight the way they expect? Han Wu smiled. The young officer was starting to understand. What do you suggest? We make this battle as messy and unpredictable as possible. We make them react to us instead of following their plan. Dr. Park Soo-jin looked up from her station with excitement. Captain, I'm picking up alien communications. They're getting frustrated. Their commanders keep asking for new orders because none of our movements match their tactical predictions. Good, Hanwoo said. Engineer Lee, can you overload our engines to make us go faster than our ships are designed for? Lee Da-yoon's eyes widened. Yes, sir, but it's dangerous. We might blow up. We're going to blow up anyway if we lose this fight. Do it. The new Soul suddenly shot forward at twice its normal speed, racing directly at the alien flagship. Every alien ship turned to intercept what looked like a suicide attack. But at the last second, Hanwoo ordered a hard turn that sent his ship spinning sideways through the alien formation. Are they insane? Overlord Vexstar roared as the human ship flew past his bridge close enough to see inside the windows. I believe so, my lord, Krelesh replied. No rational species would risk their command ship like that. But Hanwoo's crazy maneuver had a purpose. While spinning through the alien fleet, Dr. Park Soo-jin was scanning every ship they passed, recording weapon positions, shield frequencies, and structural weak points. Got it, she announced. Captain, their shields are strong in front and on the sides, but much weaker above and below their ships. They're designed to fight enemies that attack from the same level in space. The information spread quickly to the other human ships. Soon, Earth vessels were attacking from above and below the alien fleet, coming at angles the enemy had never had to defend against. The tide of battle began to change. The alien ships, designed for overwhelming firepower in organized formations, found themselves struggling against opponents who refused to follow any rules at all. Captain Park Hyun-woo of the Lucky Dragon discovered that alien ships had trouble tracking targets that flew in spirals. Captain Lee Min-jung of the Thunder Bay learned that ramming attacks, considered suicide by alien military standards, could disable ships much larger than her own. But the humans were still outnumbered 10-1. For every small victory, they lost ground to the enemy's superior numbers and firepower. Captain, Engineer Lee Da-yoon reported, we're down to 30% hull strength. Our weapons are overheating and life support is failing on decks 5 through 8. Around them, other human ships were in worse condition. The Seoul Express was venting atmosphere from multiple hull breaches. The Thunder Bay had lost all its weapons and was fighting with ramming attacks alone. Dr. Park, Hanwoo called. Are you getting all this tactical data recorded? Every second of it, Captain. But our communications are still jammed. I can't send any of this information back to Earth, Hanwoo thought quickly. The alien fleet would reach Earth in 3 days. If humanity was going to have any chance of survival, Earth needed to know everything they had learned about alien weaknesses. How much power would you need to break through their jamming? He asked. Dr. Park Soo-jin ran quick calculations. More than our communications system can handle. I need to use the main reactor's full output, but that would leave us defenseless. What if we use the reactor's full output for just a few seconds? Lieutenant Kim suggested. Long enough to send one message? That could work, Dr. Park agreed. But we'd have to lower all shields and stop all other systems. We'd be completely helpless while transmitting. Hanwoo looked around his bridge at his crew. These people had followed him into an impossible battle, knowing they would probably die. Now he was asking them to make an even bigger sacrifice. If we send this information to Earth, they might have a chance to prepare, he said quietly. If we don't, humanity faces this enemy with no knowledge of their weaknesses. Engineer Lee Da-yoon spoke first. Do it, Captain. That's why we're here. Lieutenant Kim nodded. The people on Earth deserve a fighting chance. Dr. Park Soo-jin was already working on the transmission. I can compress all our tactical data into a single burst message. Everything we've learned about their ships, their tactics, their weaknesses. Prepare the message, Hanwoo ordered. All ships, this is New Seoul. We're going to transmit everything we've learned to Earth Command. Cover us for as long as you can. The remaining human ships, battered and barely functional, formed a protective circle around the New Seoul. They knew this was probably their last fight, but they also knew it was the most important thing they would ever do. Message ready, Captain, Dr. Park reported. Transmitting in 3, 2, 1. The New Seoul went completely dark as every bit of power flowed into the communications array. The defense station New Seoul floated helpless in space, all its power flowing into the communications array. Around the darkened ship, the remaining human vessels fought desperately to protect it from the advancing alien fleet. Dr. Park. Soo-jin watched her screen as data flowed through, space toward Earth. Every piece of information they had gathered about alien weaknesses, Every tactical discovery, every hard-learned lesson about how to fight an enemy that seemed impossible to defeat. Transmission at 60%, she reported to Captain Han Wu. But they're targeting our communications dish. I don't know if we can complete the message. The Lucky Dragon, commanded by Captain Park Hyun-woo, flew directly between an alien weapons beam and the New Soul. The energy blast tore through the smaller ship's hull, but the Lucky Dragon kept flying. "This is Captain Park to New Soul," came his voice over the radio, weak but determined. "We're losing life support, but we're staying with you until that message gets through." Lieutenant Kim Tae-ho watched the battle around them with amazement. The human ships were falling apart, but none of them retreated. Each captain knew they were going to die, but they also knew their sacrifice would give Earth a chance to survive. "Captain," Kim said quietly, "what should I tell them when they ask what happened here?" Han-woo looked at the young officer. "Tell them we were here. Tell them we fought. Tell them we didn't give up." On his flagship, Overlord Vextar was growing frustrated. The humans should have been destroyed within minutes, but they kept fighting in ways that made no sense. Their ships were damaged beyond repair, but they continued attacking. "Why don't they surrender?" he demanded of Subcommander Kralesh. "They must know they cannot win." "Perhaps winning is not their goal, my lord," Kralesh replied thoughtfully. "They seem to be protecting that larger ship for some reason." Vexitar studied the tactical display. The human defense station had gone dark, but the other ships were sacrificing themselves to keep it safe. "They're transmitting something. Stop that transmission immediately." The alien fleet concentrated its fire on the New Soul's communications array, but the human ships threw themselves into the path of every attack. The Thunder Bay, already heavily damaged, used its last engine power to ram an alien destroyer that was targeting the communications dish. "Transmission at 80%, Dr. Park Soo-jin announced. Sweat dripped down her face as she worked frantically to keep the signal strong. "The message is getting through, but barely." Engineer Lee Da-eun called out from her station, "Captain, our reactor is overheating. If we keep this up much longer, we'll have a core meltdown." "How long do we need?" Han Wu asked. 90 seconds for complete transmission," Dr. Park replied. "Then we hold for 90 seconds no matter what." The Seoul Express, its captain Lee Min-jung, barely conscious from smoke inhalation, made one final attack run. With no weapons left, she aimed her ship directly at the alien command vessel that was coordinating the attack on New Soul's communications. "This is Seoul Express," came her weak voice over the radio. "Tell my family I was thinking of them." The ship exploded against the alien vessel's shields, but the blast disrupted their targeting systems just long enough for the transmission to continue. On Earth, Admiral Choi Min-ho was in the command center when the message started arriving. The signal was weak and filled with static, but the data was coming through. "Sir," called Communications Officer Dr. Yoon Hee-jin, "we're receiving a burst transmission from the outer defense perimeter. It's from Captain Han Wu." "Put it on speakers," Admiral Choi ordered. Through the static came Han Wu's voice, speaking calmly despite the battle raging around him. "Earth Command, this is Captain Han Wu aboard the New Soul. The alien fleet is larger and more powerful than we estimated. But they have weaknesses. They fight by strict rules and formations. They expect enemies to do the same. When we fought unpredictably, they couldn't adapt quickly." The message continued with detailed technical data, shield frequencies, weapon ranges, structural weak points, and most importantly, the psychological profile of an enemy that had never faced serious resistance. "Their ships are designed to fight other organized fleets." Han Wu's voice continued. "They're vulnerable to attacks from above and below. They can't track ships that move in spirals or random patterns. Most important, they've never fought an enemy that refuses to surrender. They don't understand sacrifice or desperation." In the command center, military leaders from every nation listened as Captain Han Wu described exactly how to fight an enemy that seemed invincible. "We estimate the main fleet will reach Earth in 3 days. Use that time wisely. Don't fight them the way they expect. Fight them like humans." Back in space, the transmission reached 95% completion, but the New Soul was falling apart. The reactor was close to critical meltdown, and alien ships were closing in from all directions. "Captain," Dr. Park Soo-jin said, her voice steady despite everything, 5 more seconds and the message will be complete. All remaining ships and Han Wu broadcast final push. Give Earth those last 5 seconds. The damaged human vessels, some with only emergency power remaining, made their last stands. They flew directly into alien fire, using their ships as shields to protect the New Sol for just a few more moments. "Transmission complete," Dr. Park announced. "Message received and confirmed." "New Sol," came Admiral Choi's voice from Earth. "Your data is being analyzed and distributed to all defense forces immediately." Han Wu felt a moment of relief. Earth would have a chance now. But around him, his ship was dying, and the alien fleet was moving in for the kill. "Captain," Engineer Lee Da-un said quietly. "Reactor meltdown in 30 seconds. We need to evacuate." Han Wu looked around his bridge. These people had given everything for this mission. They deserved to live, but he also knew the alien fleet needed to be hurt as much as possible before they reached Earth. "All crew to escape pods," he ordered. "That's a direct command. Abandon ship immediately." "What about you, Captain?" Lieutenant Kim asked. "Someone needs to make sure this reactor explosion counts for something," Han Wu replied. "I'm going to ram their flagship." Dr. Park Soo-jin looked up from her station. "Sir, with respect, that's suicide." "So was this whole battle," Han Wu pointed out. "But look what we accomplished. Earth has a chance now because we were willing to do what was necessary." One by one, his crew left for the escape pods. Lieutenant Kim was the last to go. "Captain, tell Admiral Choi that we completed the mission. Tell him that humanity doesn't back down." "I will, sir. It's been an honor serving with you." Alone on the bridge, Captain Han Wu aimed his dying ship at Overlord Vextar's massive flagship. The reactor was glowing red-hot, ready to explode with the force of a small star. "This is Captain Han Wu to Overlord Vextar," he broadcast on all frequencies. "You wanted to teach us about suffering for crossing lines. Let me teach you about crossing the line of human dignity." The New Sol accelerated toward the alien flagship as its reactor reached critical meltdown. Overlord Vextar watched in horror as the human ship grew larger on his screen. "They're insane," he whispered. "Completely insane." The explosion lit up space like a new sun, destroying the alien flagship and 17 other vessels in the blast. But more importantly, it sent a message to the surviving alien fleet. Humans would rather die than surrender. As the alien commanders tried to understand what had just happened, Earth's quantum communications network carried Captain Han Wu's tactical data to every military base. Every scientist and every leader on the planet. Humanity had 3 days to prepare for the fight of their lives. Thanks to the sacrifice of 12 brave crews, they now knew how to win. Admiral Choi Min-ho stood before the emergency assembly of Earth's leaders. Representatives from every nation, every military force, and every major corporation filled the massive underground command center. The message from Captain Han Wu had reached Earth 6 hours ago, and everything had changed. "Ladies and gentlemen," Admiral Choi began, his voice echoing through the chamber, "we have 72 hours before the alien fleet reaches Earth. Captain Han Wu and his brave crews have given us the intelligence we need to fight back. Now we must use it." The holographic display in the center of the room showed the alien fleet approaching Earth. Even after losing 18 ships in the battle at New Sol, they still had over 400 vessels. Each ship was larger than anything humans had ever built. Dr. Yoon Hee-jin, Earth's chief scientist, stepped forward with a tablet full of data. Analysis of Captain Han Wu's transmission shows clear weaknesses in alien technology and tactics. They've been using the same battle strategies for thousands of years because they've never needed to change. "What does that mean for us?" asked President Chen Wei-ming of the Asian Federation. "It means they're not prepared for an enemy that adapts quickly," Dr. Yoon explained. "Every species they've conquered before fought conventionally. They've never faced guerrilla warfare, asymmetric tactics, or opponents willing to sacrifice everything." General Maria Santos of the American Defense Coalition leaned forward. "You're talking about turning our entire planet into a fortress." "More than that," Admiral Choi replied. "We're talking about turning every human being into a soldier, every factory into a weapons plant, every scientist into a weapons designer. This isn't just war. This is the complete mobilization of human civilization." In the 3 days that followed, Earth transformed in ways that would have seemed impossible before the crisis. The old divisions between countries disappeared overnight. Chinese engineers worked alongside American pilots. Russian scientists shared data with African technologists. European factories retooled to produce weapons designed by teams from every continent. Engineer Lee Da-un, who had survived the battle at New Sol in an escape pod, found herself leading a team of thousands. Her technical knowledge of alien ships gained during the desperate fight became the foundation for Earth's defense strategy. Based on what we learned, she explained to a room full of engineers, alien shields are designed to stop large, powerful attacks. But they're not good at stopping many small attacks at once. We need to build weapons that fire thousands of tiny projectiles instead of big explosions. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Kim Tae-ho, promoted to colonel after his rescue from space, was training pilots in new fighting techniques. In massive underground facilities, human pilots learned to fly in ways that would confuse alien targeting systems. Forget everything you know about formation flying, he told a group of new recruits. The aliens expect us to fly in straight lines and organized groups. Instead, we're going to fly like a swarm of angry bees. Random patterns, sudden changes, complete chaos. Dr. Park Soo-jin, also rescued from the New Sol battle, was working with Earth's communication systems. Her experience with alien jamming technology was invaluable. They can block our normal radio signals, she explained to a team of technicians, but they're not familiar with quantum entanglement communication. We can use quantum-paired transmitters to coordinate our forces without them being able to interfere. Around the world, factories that had been making cars and electronics began producing warships and weapons. But these weren't copies of alien technology. They were uniquely human designs based on the weaknesses Captain Han-woo had discovered. The ships were smaller and faster than alien vessels, designed to attack from unexpected angles. Instead of powerful main guns, they carried swarms of small missiles that could overwhelm alien defenses. Instead of heavy armor, they relied on speed and unpredictability. But the most important change was in the humans themselves. The alien demand for surrender had awakened something in the human spirit that had been sleeping. Every person on Earth understood that this was not just a war for territory or resources. This was a war for the right to exist as free beings. Children too young to fight became messengers and mechanics. Elderly people who couldn't hold weapons became tacticians and teachers. Artists and musicians wrote songs and painted murals that reminded everyone what they were fighting for. Scientists worked around the clock to develop new technologies. Dr. Kim Jae-won, one of Earth's leading physicists, made a breakthrough on the second day. The aliens' energy shields operate on a specific frequency, he announced to the Scientific Council. If we can match that frequency exactly, we can make our weapons pass right through their defenses. The information spread instantly across Earth's global communication network. Within hours, weapons factories were adjusting their designs to include frequency modulators that could penetrate alien shields. On the third day, as the alien fleet approached the outer edge of Earth's solar system, Overlord Vextar expected to find a demoralized planet ready to surrender. Instead, his sensors detected something impossible. "Sub-Commander Kralesh," he called from his new flagship. "What am I looking at?" Kralesh studied the sensor readings with confusion. "My lord, it appears that Earth has changed. I'm detecting thousands of new structures, energy signatures unlike anything in our database, and massive orbital platforms that weren't there 3 days ago." "Impossible," Vextar growled. "No species can build that quickly. There's more, my lord. I'm counting over 10,000 small vessels in Earth's vicinity. They appear to be swarming around the planet like insects." Vextar stared at the tactical display. 3 days ago, the humans had maybe 50 ships capable of space combat. Now there were thousands. How had they built so many vessels so quickly? The answer was simple but shocking. They hadn't built new ships. They had converted everything that could fly into a weapon. Passenger shuttles carried missile pods. Cargo haulers were loaded with explosives. Research satellites had been turned into guided bombs. Even civilian spacecraft had been armed with whatever weapons could be attached to their hulls. Captain Park Hyun-woo, who had survived the Lucky Dragon's destruction at New Sol, now commanded a battle group of converted civilian ships. His flagship was a former luxury cruise ship that now bristled with human-designed weapons. "All vessels, this is Admiral Park," he broadcasted to his fleet. "Remember what Captain Han-woo taught us. The aliens fight by rules. We don't have any rules. Make this battle as messy and unpredictable as possible." On Earth's surface, massive defense installations that had been built in just 3 days were powering up. These weren't copies of alien technology, but uniquely human solutions. Where the aliens built giant energy cannons, humans built thousands of smaller weapons that could fire continuously. Where the aliens relied on shields, humans built mobile launchers that could relocate instantly. Admiral Choi Min-ho stood in Earth's primary command center, surrounded by officers from every nation. Through the main view screen, he could see the alien fleet approaching like a dark cloud. "All forces, this is Earth Command," he announced on the global communication network. "The aliens are about to learn something important about humanity. They think we're weak because we're smaller than them. They think we're primitive because our technology is different. They're about to discover that the most dangerous thing in the universe is a human being who refuses to give up." The alien fleet moved into attack position, their ships forming the same perfect formations they had used to conquer 1,000 worlds. But as they prepared to begin their assault, something unprecedented happened. Every light on Earth went out. Every energy signature disappeared. Every communication signal stopped. To alien sensors, Earth appeared to have simply vanished. "What's happening?" Overlord Vextar demanded. "I don't know, my lord," Kralesh replied, frantically checking his instruments. "It's as if the entire planet just disappeared." What the aliens didn't know was that Dr. Park Soo-jin had designed a planet-wide stealth system using the same quantum technology that allowed Earth's communications to avoid alien jamming. For exactly 10 seconds, Earth was completely invisible to alien sensors. 10 seconds was all humanity needed. When Earth reappeared on alien sensors, it was too late. Thousands of human vessels had already launched from hidden positions throughout the solar system. They came from behind asteroids, from the dark side of the moon, from orbital stations that had been disguised as space debris. The aliens found themselves surrounded by an enemy that fought like nothing they had ever encountered before. Human ships attacked from above, below, behind, and in spiraling patterns that made no sense according to military doctrine. But the greatest shock came when the humans began using their secret weapon. They had been studying alien technology for 3 days, and they had learned to turn it against its creators. Impossible. Vextar roared as human weapons passed straight through his shields. "Our defenses are impenetrable." "Not anymore," came a voice over the communication channel. It was Admiral Choi Min-ho, speaking directly to the alien commander. "We've had 3 days to study your weaknesses, 3 days to prepare, 3 days to become something you've never faced before. Humans who know exactly how to hurt you." The battle for Earth raged across the solar system as Overlord Vextar watched his perfect fleet fall apart. Human ships swarmed around alien vessels like angry insects, attacking from directions that should have been impossible to defend against. "Sub-Commander Kralesh," Vextar roared, "explain to me how a primitive species is destroying our fleet." Kralesh studied the tactical displays in growing horror. "My lord, they're not fighting like any species we've encountered. Their ships are attacking in coordinated chaos. Every time we adjust to counter one tactic, they switch to something completely different." On his converted cruise ship flagship, Captain Park Hyun-woo led a squadron of former civilian vessels against an alien battlecruiser 10 times their size. His ships darted around the massive enemy vessel like flies around a giant, each one firing specialized weapons designed to exploit alien weaknesses. "All ships, target their shield generators with frequency modulators," Park commanded. "Remember, we're not trying to destroy them with brute force. We're using their own technology against them." The small human missiles passed through alien shields as if they weren't there, striking precisely at critical systems. The alien battlecruiser, designed to withstand massive energy blasts, had no defense against thousands of tiny projectiles hitting its weak points simultaneously. From Earth's surface, Colonel Kim Tae-ho coordinated the defense from a hidden command bunker. The young officer who had learned about human stubbornness during the battle at New Seoul was now directing a planetary defense system that the aliens couldn't comprehend. "Orbital Platform 7, execute random pattern Delta," Kim ordered. "Platform 12, shift to frequency set Gamma and target their command vessel's communication array." The orbital platforms, built in 3 days from converted space stations and asteroid mining equipment, fired continuously at the alien fleet. But instead of staying in fixed positions like traditional defenses, they moved constantly, relocating after each attack to avoid return fire. Dr. Park Soo-jin, working from the primary communication center, maintained contact with all human forces using quantum-paired transmitters that the aliens couldn't jam or intercept. Admiral Choi, "I'm detecting confusion in alien communications," she reported. Their commanders are requesting new orders because none of their tactical manuals cover this type of warfare. Good, Admiral Choi replied from his command center. Keep them confused. The longer they spend trying to understand us, the more time we have to hurt them. But the greatest shock to the alien fleet was yet to come. As the battle intensified, Engineer Lee Da-yoon activated a system she had spent 3 days perfecting. From hidden locations throughout the solar system, massive holographic projectors created the illusion of thousands of additional human ships. To alien sensors, Earth's fleet appeared to triple in size instantly. Phantom vessels that looked completely real on their instruments swarmed around the alien formation, making it impossible for enemy commanders to tell which targets were real and which were electronic ghosts. "This is impossible," Overlord Vextar screamed as his sensors showed human ships appearing everywhere at once. "No species has this level of technological sophistication." The truth was both simpler and more terrifying than Vextar could understand. Humans didn't have more advanced technology than the aliens. They had something far more dangerous: the ability to adapt their existing technology in ways the enemy had never imagined. The holographic projectors were modified entertainment systems from Earth's cities. The frequency modulators that penetrated alien shields were based on civilian radio transmitters. The quantum communication network used scientific research equipment that had been studying particle physics. Humanity had taken ordinary technology and turned it into weapons of war through pure ingenuity and desperation. As the battle reached its climax, Admiral Choi activated the final phase of Earth's defense plan. From his command center, he opened a communication channel that reached every human vessel, every orbital platform, and every defense installation on Earth. "All forces, this is Admiral Choi. Activate Protocol 7. Show them what happens when you threaten human freedom." Protocol 7 was humanity's ultimate expression of controlled madness. Every human ship, every platform, every weapon system began firing at maximum rate while moving in completely random patterns. The systematic chaos was designed to overwhelm alien targeting systems and tactical computers. Thousands of human vessels attacked from every direction simultaneously, while holographic duplicates made the assault appear even larger. Orbital platforms fired continuously while relocating after every shot. Surface-based weapons launched projectiles that followed spiral paths through space, making them impossible for alien point defense systems to track. The alien fleet, designed to fight organized opponents, found itself facing an enemy that had deliberately chosen to fight without any organization at all. Overlord Vextar watched his sensors fill with so many targets, moving in so many directions that his tactical computers simply gave up trying to track them. The perfect formation that had conquered 1,000 worlds was falling apart as individual ship commanders made desperate decisions without coordination. "All ships, retreat to minimum safe distance," Vextar ordered. "We need to regroup and analyze this enemy." But as the alien fleet began to pull back, Admiral Choi played humanity's final card. From deep space beyond the range of alien sensors came the ships that Earth had been building in secret for the past 3 days. These weren't converted civilian vessels or hastily modified cargo haulers. These were purpose-built warships designed from the ground up to fight aliens, incorporating every piece of tactical data that Captain Han Woo had transmitted from the new Seoul. The new human fleet was led by Admiral Lee Min-jung, formerly captain of the Thunder Bay, who had survived the first battle and spent 3 days planning revenge. "Alien fleet, this is Admiral Lee of Earth's Strike Force," she broadcasted on all frequencies. "You made a mistake when you demanded our surrender. You made a bigger mistake when you killed Captain Han Woo and his crew. Now you're going to learn the biggest mistake of all. You woke us up." The new human warships were smaller than alien vessels, but faster and far more maneuverable. They carried weapons specifically designed to exploit every weakness in alien technology. Most importantly, they were crewed by humans who had spent 3 days learning to hate an enemy that wanted to enslave their entire species. The battle that followed was unlike anything in galactic history. Humanity fought with a combination of advanced tactics and primitive fury that the aliens couldn't counter. Human ships rammed enemy vessels when their weapons were depleted. Pilots who ran out of ammunition used their ships as guided missiles. Crews that lost their vessels evacuated to other ships and continued fighting. As his fleet disintegrated around him, Overlord Vextar finally understood what his species had done. They hadn't just threatened another primitive world. They had awakened something that had been hiding among the stars, pretending to be weak while it was actually incredibly dangerous. "Sub-Commander Kralesh," he said quietly, "send a message to the Galactic Council. Tell them we have encountered a species that fights like no other." "What should I tell them about Earth, my lord?" Vextar looked at the tactical display showing the remains of his once mighty fleet. "Tell them that humans are not what they appear to be. Tell them that Earth is not a primitive world to be conquered. Tell them that we have made a terrible mistake." The final blow came when Dr. Kim Jae-won's team activated their master weapon, a planet-wide energy pulse that overloaded every alien ship's power system simultaneously. The pulse, generated by Earth's entire electrical grid working in coordination, left the surviving alien vessels dead in space. Admiral Choi opened a communication channel to the helpless alien fleet. "Overlord Vextar, this is Admiral Choi Min-ho of Earth. Your invasion has failed. Your fleet is defeated, but we're not going to destroy you." "Why?" Vextar asked, genuinely confused. "Because we want you to go back to your people and tell them something important. Earth is not hiding anymore. Humanity is not pretending to be weak anymore. We are part of the galactic community now, whether other species like it or not." Admiral Choi paused, thinking of Captain Han Wu and all the brave people who had died to make this moment possible. "Tell them that humans have a simple rule. We don't start fights, but we finish them. Tell them that anyone who wants to be friends with Earth will be welcomed with open arms. But tell them that anyone who threatens human freedom will face the same fate as your fleet." The surviving alien ships, their weapons disabled and their engines barely functional, began the long journey back to their home worlds. They carried with them a message that would spread throughout the galaxy. Humanity was no longer hiding. Dr. Park Soo-jin, monitoring communications from around the galaxy, began detecting signals from other species that had been secretly resisting the domination fleet for centuries. "Admiral," she reported excitedly, "I'm receiving messages from dozens of different species. They're asking if Earth would be willing to help them fight for their freedom." Admiral Choi smiled as he looked out at the stars. Captain Han Wu's sacrifice had done more than save Earth. It had lit a fire of rebellion that was spreading across the galaxy.